There we go.
Okay, so you can hear now.
I can hear you.
I can hear you.
Awesome. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, man, just uh, just trying to live my life. How about you?
Absolutely. Me too. I moved to the north side and I've been sober for about 2.5, 3 months. And you know, I really thank you for doing this, man. I don't have a real big following, but I got a couple hundred views, which I'm getting there, but you know what I
Yeah,
mean? I saw you post a video on Facebook, so I wanted to reach out and do a podcast with you because you did like a public video on your Facebook talking about gratitude and that type of stuff.
yeah,
So that would be like where I kind of want to start it off with, like how important gratitude is in life, and you know what I mean?
yeah. Well, it wasn't always important to me. I think a lot of people come to gratitude on a paved road that's that has a lot of trial and error, a lot of hardship. I think a lot of people come to gratitude through pain. You know,
Yeah,
um, you try it every other way, and you find out that nothing else really works. I mean, that's been my, and it's
yeah,
something. It's not like a test. You complete the test and pass. It's ongoing. I mean, it's every day. It has to be renewed over and over and over again, because just like that, I can I can revert to being negative and judgmental and ungrateful and all those things. I
yeah.
don't I don't have to work at that stuff. That stuff happens all on its own.
Hmm.
I have to work at being grateful and trying to catch myself and those type of things.
Yeah. I will say this though, like I've been sober now for about 2.5, 3 months, and I feel like when you start doing the right thing and you start doing the right things, um, all the bad stuff kind of simmers down, or it's not like it used to be, I used to have fear, I used to have, all that negative stuff going on, but I feel like, as I continue to do the right thing, the more positive aspects, the more positive emotions, start to come back and feel better than ever.
Yeah, yeah. Well, fear is one of those things that we need fear. I mean, without fear, we'd be jumping off buildings. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Fear's
yeah,
not a bad. I mean, it's hardwired in us. You know, it,
yeah,
and that can be a good thing. It's just fear rears its head in so many areas of our lives, not consciously, but if you really boil things down and get to the real essence of things, a lot of times, it's fear.
Yeah.
But uh, but it's still fear's necessary. It's
Hmm.
just it's just it's when it keeps us from moving forward in positive ways. Uh,
Yeah. Like
then
acting on your fear, like when you have adrenaline, some people could turn it up and like, you know what I mean? Like I'm sure you, I don't know, I can't speak for you, but before like a big match, like a championship match, like in wrestling, like I mean I've wrestled in high school and in grade school, and I did get like nervous, like those butterflies in your stomach before a big match. And I either acted really good upon it because I was like fight or flight, or it went another direction.
sure.
But you know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you were better than anyone.
Well, it's survival mechanism, that's what our brain is all about, survival. Our brain is all about survival, and it'll do anything to protect us. And unfortunately, a lot of those ways can be very slippery, tricky, and unhealthy. But
Yeah,
you have to be watchful. You have to be what I call a human owl. But even
yeah,
still knowing this stuff, it's still if I make add up the tallies at the end of the day, I'm still making a lot of the same mistakes, on a daily basis. But I'm
it's
trying
human.
trying to get more tallies on the plus side than the negative side. So
Yeah, that's all we can do. I mean, sobriety's been a real cool thing. It's been, tricky at times, Uh, I'm used to like, the weekend getting here and like getting after it, like going to have a real good time, with people and stuff like that. But man, it got to be too much, and I was just throwing my life away, and I had a couple close calls. I'm lucky and grateful to be sitting here and
mhm.
doing this. But do I miss it? There was fun times when I had on it with different people going to party and stuff like that, but I have to focus on myself and you know, really start doing the things that I know I'm capable of in this life, you
Yeah.
know?
Well, yeah, and you said a lot there. The one thing that I've continued to find to ring true is you got to have something that drives you, motivates you, excites you. There has to be something. There has to be some major, uh, some major mission from within, or we just won't. We won't do all these things. We like, for example, I've done a lot of talks, and a lot of times I find people, they don't have something that drives them, motivates them, excites them. And unless we find something that does, we're not going to do a lot of these things. Like it's got to come from within to sustain. Um, and what I've also found is a lot of people, and it can come at any age, but a lot of people that I've talked to have never had that thing, whatever it is that drives them, motivates them, excites them, and sustains. For me, it was wrestling and coaching for a long time, and I could build my life around those things. But I found most people don't get that. I was blessed to ever have that. But if you can find something, then you can build your life around it. If you can find something that drives you, motivates you, excites you, because people only do things when they've had when they're inspired or they've had enough pain. Like
Yep, yep,
the white flag is like, I can't do this anymore, man. I got to make a change. Or you're inspired.
yeah. Here's $1 million question though. How do? You find that thing, Because I
Well, I think
totally
you
agree
know
with
when you
everything you
find it.
said.
I think you'll know when you find it. And
Yeah,
that you might have to look in places that you didn't think you'd ever look before. A lot of us wait for it to come. We wait for something to happen in our life. and I'm a waiter too. I mean, I'm guilty of all these things. But why, you know, you at your age, why can't you try some other things? You know, maybe some
Exactly.
things that you've never thought of before. It's like you rule it out before ever even trying it. But
Yeah.
we all do.
Yeah.
And
That's where
right
that
now,
fear
it's like,
comes back into play, you know, your fear you're gonna fail, fear you're gonna, you know, but yeah, getting out there and trying new things and seeing what you like and what excites you and what makes you get up in the morning and embrace the day and you know, you're excited when you pop your head off that pillow and you're excited to go and do what you do, you know.
so what's, is anything doing that for you right now? And don't fluff nothing up, man. I mean, talk to me. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
want no you know,
No, we keep it 100% real
any
here.
positive talk. I mean, I want you to be, tell me what's up.
Yeah. Okay, so I have an idea of, you know, what excites me and stuff like that. Is it happening right now? No. Do I wake up super excited for the day? No, you know, but I get up either way, but you know, I'm doing the right things though, which I'm proud of myself for, and I'm doing 90 and 90, going to meeting every day. I'm working out every day. I'm eating healthy. I mean, those three things right there is like what I'm focusing on right
Yeah.
now. Um, So I think that's gonna put me in the right mental space to have long-term sobriety, you know. But as far as the what excites me, like my purpose and all that, I would I mean this I'm serious when I say this. I think helping people and like music excites me and photography and
Hmm.
you know, I like helping people because I've been in that spot before where they're down and they're real down bad and they're hurting, they're sweating, they're like they're going through it, you know.
Yeah.
And I've been there, so I want to help them, you know, like because I know what it feels like.
Yes.
That makes sense.
Well, that makes sense. And you're right. You know, helping other people feels good. You know, I said many times that you know, I competing was great, and I loved having some of the, a little bit of the brief success I had, but coaching athletes and helping them, I got as much, if not more, into that, you know, to help other people see other people get there and be part of that, you know. And I think we got to be part of something, you know.
Yeah,
It's hard to float out there all on your own, you know. It's not that there aren't times for that, but overall, you know, I think we all want to be part of something bigger
yeah.
than ourselves, you know, and
Hmm.
it feels good when you are.
It really does. We're tribal. I think humans are tribal, you know,
Sure.
which is, you know, could be it's a good thing, you know what I mean? That's
Right.
interesting though. Yeah.
So your plan on a daily basis right now is to, is to do what? What is
So my
most
plan
important
is, you
to you
know,
right now on a
be
daily basis? What is it?
healthy on a daily basis. I wake up early, which is a huge thing. I was talking a little bit about that before you hopped on. Waking up early to start your day is like the number one thing I think is just to get a good thing going. You got time to get ready. You're happy you did it. But my schedule looks like, you know, I wake up, have some coffee, have a cigarette, which, you know, I'm cutting down on that, but have a cigarette, get some breakfast in me, take my meds, and then I'm off to the races. I go work out. I go to a meeting after, and you know, I got a couple side hustles. I don't really have a full-time job right now. You know, I'm helping out the alderman get some signatures, and I get a couple bucks a signature, and I'm doing that. A couple other side hustles, but nothing really like my purpose really isn't fully there yet,
Yeah,
which you know, it takes time to really
sure.
know what you want to do in life and go after it, you know.
Well,
You-
not to interrupt you,
no, you're good.
but first things first, if you don't stay sober and do what it takes to stay sober, ain't nothing else going to happen. So
Yeah.
right now, it's about you doing whatever you need to do to stay sober. And then once you get that under control, you can start building on these other things. But that's the most important thing for you right now in life, because if you don't have that, you don't have anything else that follows. I mean, the most important thing for you on a daily basis right now is to stay sober, right?
Yeah.
You agree with that?
I totally agree with that.
Okay, and what do you got to do to stay sober? Well, I got to do this and this and this. And those are the things that you do today. And then when tomorrow comes, you do those things again. And that's all you have to worry about right now. You don't have to complicate things, because if you keep doing the right thing, you're not going to have to go looking for it, because whatever it is, it's going to find you.
Yep. I like
So
that.
I wouldn't be out there really, looking too hard for things. I would just keep things simple right now and do what you need to do, because right now the ice is still a little thin.
Yeah, it is.
Of
I
course it
can
is.
ask you something?
Yeah, you can
How
ask
were
me.
you able to achieve long-term sobriety and stay sober and you know,
How was I able to?
I mean not how, but like how are you able to maintain sobriety after such a long time? Do you ever get those thoughts of going back to it?
Yeah, well, and I'll be honest, Nick. Um, I haven't been sober the entire time. Since 1995 is when after all my painkiller bull crap, um, uh, I had almost a 10-year run, but I had to work my ass off to do it. I,
Yeah.
I mean, I really had to work hard to do it. I got meetings in wherever we were at. I'd sneak away, and it was inconvenient at times and things like that, but it was what I felt. And I had a 10-year run. 10-year run, Nick, but I worked at it. I journaled in the morning. I stayed away from places. I had something to channel my energy into, which was the coaching and that kind of thing, but not right at first. That stuff happened as a result of doing the right things. But then I stopped. I moved locations, and I stopped going to meetings, and slowly it started falling apart. And I've been back and forth several times through the years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, right now, I, you know, I used to have fun drinking too. You know what I mean? But those were college days, and I had a little fun afterwards, but not so much. You know, um, I think a lot of it later on was trying to still find those old times, and it was never going to be like that again.
Yeah.
Um, so drinking doesn't really, if I get with some buddies and stuff, drinking just if I even have a couple of beers, I just get tired. I don't get like it used to be at all. So age has made a difference for me too. But purpose is so huge, and
It
you don't have
really
to
is.
figure out your purpose right now, but a place to channel your energy in a positive direction, because we have to be able to do something to get out of this.
Yeah.
And I get
I,
caught up in the same things, Nick.
what what do you think your purpose is, Schwab?
Well, I've known my purpose for a long time, and it's pretty much the same as something you described, and that's helping other people, being impactful to other people. And that's a pretty big statement. How do I narrow that down more so? But in some kind of teaching capacity, some type of capacity where I can work with other people, you know. And I found that through wrestling for a long time, and now it's maybe more through performance psychology or just life.
Yeah.
you know
Are you still doing the motivational talks and stuff like
well,
that?
I'll be honest with you, outside of 2000, maybe 17, 18, I haven't put anything out there at all. um, I'm not a promoter. I'm not that, you know what I mean? I don't like that kind of stuff. People still get a hold of me once in a while, and I'll do some things, but I'll put some stuff out there like I did on Facebook the other day, but I don't like
Yeah. I
So
think it's a
people
good
get a hold of
idea.
me, they get a hold of me, but I'll be honest, I want to teach performance psychology, not work with somebody one-on-one. I want to teach a course. And I'm trying to get something going where I can get a course going where I teach it online or even in person. But that's what I really want to do. I want to teach performance psychology, life psychology, and giving people the weapons, the experience, the tools, the direction to give themselves every opportunity to grow, to develop, to mature, to achieve their potential, and ideally achieve excellence.
That's a yeah. That you should get like a Mark Schwab camp where you put the word out and the people come from all over to attend your camp.
Well, the one thing that might be good is, we can do stuff online.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
But
You know
Nick,
when
I
you
haven't, all my stuff hasn't always been really, really good either. I mean, I've done some talks that were pretty bad. Um, you know, my information is rock solid. My
yeah.
information is some of the best stuff out there. I'll guarantee that. But my delivery hasn't always been great, so um, I'm still, we're all just still trying to, there's a, and I'm not a real storyteller, but this is a real short. The statue of David is in Italy, and it's basically was a botched piece of marble that Michelangelo chipped away at, and it was roughly like 6 or 7 ton, 16-foot botched piece of marble that he chiseled away the statue David. And he got David out of this botched piece of marble. And they asked him, "How did you get David out of this botched piece of marble?" He said, "Well, David was already in the marble. All I had to do was chip away the excess to get the David
Wow.
that was in there." And I think that's a lot of what we're doing. We're chipping away the excess to get to
Yeah.
who's in there, you know.
Yeah. I like that. I had to cut a lot of people off, cut a lot of people out of my life and focus on me right now and in a non-selfish way I have to be kind of selfish, like focus on me right now and getting me better and you know, like just focus on what I want to do and go for it. But I totally agree starting out with chasing getting sobriety in first. That's number one, and will always be number one because without sobriety, you can't have anything else, and that's just the truth.
Well, people like you and I can't. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
People like us, we have to. We have to do these things. No, we don't have to. But if we don't, we know the consequences.
yeah,
And you're right, because without that stuff, you're really not no good to anybody, and you certainly ain't no good to yourself. And same here, exactly same here. When I'm speaking to you, I'm speaking to myself too.
yeah, absolutely. I got like one last question. I wanted to ask this for you. What are some of the qualities and things that you did to become a champion as far
Well,
as wrestling?
there's no secrets, Nick, and I actually was going to do a little short video today on exactly that, and I'll answer that with I always kept dreaming, always kept rehearsing and go using the imagination, go into the mind's eye. And when I was a kid and I discovered that it was wrestling, I was always rehearsing. I was always seeing myself in the mind's eye, doing these things, much like kids do, uh, like they're pretend they're a rock star in front of the mirror, or they're outside on the side of the house and they're throwing footballs and diving into the leaves as they catch in class. I did that, and I still do that about things. I continue to rehearse it in the mind's eye over and over again, and I really believe that you dance until it rains. You keep it alive, and it has a way if you can get it strong enough, it has a way that it just, you make it almost impossible for it not to happen. And you teach the body how to do it better than the mind. And once the body knows how to do it better than the mind, you're in pretty good shape. Because
So,
let me ask
like,
you this, and
yeah.
I'll back it up with this. What do I mean by the body knows how to do it better than the mind? Well, why do people drill in any sport? Why do people practice basics? They go through the basics over and over again. You continue to drill, execute over and over again. You do that, so the body learns how to do it better than the mind, where you don't have to think about it. It comes by feel. It comes automatic, just like some of these things that we have in our fabric, like blinking our eye. We don't have to think about those things. They happen. All these things that become effortless because you get to the point where your body knows how to do it better than your mind. And I think I got to the point where I had gone there so many times in my mind that I just wasn't going to be denied. Planted my flag, burned the bridge, and now I didn't get to all the way where I want to go, but I got close. And I got to the point where I knew this because I was in Russia at the time and I was competing, and I remember having this revelation after beating a world silver medalist, but losing to the world champion. So I'm close. I felt the day, the exact time where I knew in my mind, I'm close. I'm not there yet, but I'm close. And that's 20 years old, and I never got any closer. But I
Well,
tell you, this imagination, and I call it 815 Pine Street anywhere, because that's where we grew up. And in our living room, we had these matches and all these things. My younger brother did end up making it to the Olympics, and world championships. And I got to wrestle in world-class tournaments, but I didn't make the big teams. And I'm not gonna lie, it's like a part of me is dead. There is like a part of me is dead inside, and I don't think it'll ever be revived. But you got to keep.
you gotta keep, yeah.
That had a lot to do with my self-destruction through the time,
Mhm.
the hatred of myself and those things, and it's not an easy task to like yourself. It's really not.
I know. Yeah, that's, I think that was a big downfall with me is like, I didn't really love myself. And if you can't love yourself, then you can't love people around you. You got to work on yourself and, you know, do things that better yourself,
Yeah,
and working out I think is a cornerstone to my life, my sobriety, and everything around it. Because one, it makes you feel good. Two, you look better, which also makes you feel good because you see yourself looking
sure.
better. Your ego gets boosted up, and there's just so many benefits to it.
Right.
It's a huge cornerstone to my life. And talking about higher power and stuff, I don't know what it is, but when I'm working out super hard, I get this feeling like I've never really experienced outside of the gym, where it's like this might be my higher power, just getting myself is built and strong as possible. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
becoming a fucking beast, becoming the best version of myself, and I could achieve that in the gym.
you just said it. Well, I think, Nick, and I've said this to a lot of people too, you got this blank canvas in front of you right now as you're kind of starting on this new journey, and you can paint this canvas up how you want. Uh, but the entry fee to be able to paint this canvas on a daily basis is, you probably got to go to these meetings and you got to touch base with your higher power and those things. Because I'll tell you again, man, and people will tell you a lot of times when they go back more and more times than any, they stop going to meetings.
Yep.
It's 1 hour out of your day. That leaves you with 23 to do whatever the hell you want. you know, and
Mhm.
uh, but anyway, you know what
Thanks.
you can do.
Absolutely. Hey, thank you. Thank you for doing this, Mark. You know, I haven't talked to you in a long time. You know, I hope you're doing really good.
Yeah, well,
You know,
I think about you too, and let's talk about somebody for a minute here.
sure.
Let's talk about Tim Krieger here for a few minutes.
Okay.
And you can say anything you want. I don't, you know, whatever. But that's who we met through.
Yeah.
And you know, Tim is a complicated guy. Tim is a complicated guy. Very, very smart. Very, very intelligent guy. Very, very giving guy. Um, you know, Tim, as far as wrestling, he's a superstar. I mean, this guy was so good. So good. He was always good. He wasn't just good, he was great. He almost, I can remember times watching him, it almost looked like he was just bored out there. You know, it was almost like it was like he was wrestling, but he could have actually been reading a book at the time too and still getting the job done. Um, but you know, Krieg, he gave, he really tried to help you out too, didn't he? He's been a
A
part of
hundred percent. You know, I still
in
talk
the
to him,
right
you know.
direction.
Yeah. I still talk to him. I think he's coming out to Chicago, but you know, he's helped me out and he's giving me great advice. And you know, I could say, you know, nothing bad about the guy. You know, he's always been there to help me out and you know, he cares about me and you know, he's just a good guy. He's a solid guy. He's a serious guy, but
We
you know,
needed him.
good guy.
He was a bad cop. I was a good cop. You know, I mean, that's and that's how we. I saw how it was going to be. You didn't need two people on you. You had him to be on you, and then I could kind of pick up the pieces a little bit. Not, but I mean, I read that. I read that.
Yeah.
I saw that, and you know, and if Tim would have been the guy uh, um, who was going to bring you back up, then I probably would have played the harder guy a little bit, you know. But you needed both,
Yeah.
and and Tim was smart enough to know that as well. You know, he's a
That was a
very
great
smart guy.
experience. Yeah, it was a great experience though, you know, going out there and you know, being with you and him and going to the Grand Canyon, you know, I that's something I'll never forget that month I was there, you know. It's
Yeah.
great
How about
memories.
the $2,500 meal at the sushi bar, man? I mean, we drove to Las Vegas to
Yeah.
eat off the
Remember
hot rock,
that? We went to Vegas.
to eat meat off the hot rocks. The 20, me, you, and Volker. You know, I'm going to tell you something. I've known Tim Krieger. I've known Tim Krieger since 1982, and he's a very solid guy. That guy, he's always been a giver to me all those years. He's given me so much more than I've been able to give back. But Tim Krieger, if he takes you in his circle, because he's pretty selective, he's
Yeah.
one of the best guys in the world, man. And I tell you what, I'm very fortunate to have been able to hang out with him and spend time with him, and I feel like I owe the guy a lot.
I definitely owe him a
He'll
lot, you
show
know.
you up in a hurry, though. You know, I mean, you know, you
Yeah.
need too. You need that guy who's gonna.
Yeah, he's not afraid to put you in place, you know. He you know, he helped me out. He you know, gave me a place to live, gave me work, you know. You know, he's just a great guy. He's got a good heart and
What happened? What happened? Why didn't it keep going?
so
Why didn't it keep
I'm
going,
not
Nick?
proud of it. I'm not proud of it, you know. I still had a sick mind, you know. It's
Yeah, right.
I had a disease and you
And
know,
it was in full fledged
it
motion, wasn't it?
yeah, it
I know.
got to me, you
It
know, it got
wasn't.
to me. I went and had a drink down the block, and then I had another drink, and then I had another drink, and then next thing you know, me and Krieger are throwing hands in the parking lot.
Yeah. Was that the night I left? Was that the day I left?
No, it was pretty close. Just within the week that you left.
Good. So the night that I left, or the last night I was there, you took off on your bike. Did you go somewhere, or did you were not doing nothing?
No, I wasn't doing nothing.
Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't doing nothing until you left about a week after. I was just home. I was bored. It was nice out. I don't know. It hit me. And
Yeah. Well, it's
I
gotta
felt
change.
so bad, man. I felt fucking so bad. I felt like an asshole. This guy's he's fucking providing, you know, work, a house, and I just fucked it off,
But
and
that just shows you how powerful this thing is. You know what I mean? It doesn't.
yeah,
It doesn't sit there and go, well, on one hand this and on one hand that. We don't have that power of reasoning. It's just we're just a savage moving forward, and you know that now.
yeah,
And you said it, you can't let yourself get bored too much. Boredom's another thing that drives people. We're all susceptible when we get bored to possibly doing things we normally wouldn't do. So that's another thing you have to watch, is getting too bored, or at least
yep,
have somebody you can call or something to kind of get through those moments.
yeah.
It's like
That's
a cloud
yeah,
going through, isn't it? It's like a cloud. You just gotta do something to let that cloud get past so the sun can
yep,
shine.
yep. I get those fleeting thoughts, and you can't act on them. I don't know if my sponsor told me this, but it's like you train your mind, and you train for sobriety all this time for those one couple moments,
Yeah,
for those couple moments where that thought comes in and it's like, fuck, I want to drink right now, I want to do this right now. But I play the tape forward, and what's gonna end up happening is I'm gonna be fucking kicked out of my house on the north side. I'm gonna be, you know, broke again. I'm gonna be sick again. I'm gonna lose everything. It's not worth it. It's just
yeah.
not worth
Well, as
it.
long as you can reason like that, but a lot of times we're not able to put that much space in between that. You know what I mean? It's like a lot of times the feeling comes and then we just get in motion. You know,
Yeah.
I tell you, it's crazy. I wrote a big major piece on mental health and men. And at some point, I'm going to put it out there, but it's pretty harsh as far as people go, because people do a lot of judging and things
Yep.
like this. And, people say we don't judge. Well, I don't judge. It's like, well, as soon as you lay your eyes on something, judgment's happening. It's
Yep.
innate. It's part of who we are. As
Exactly.
soon as you see something, judgment's already passing. So don't say you don't judge. Of
Yeah.
course, of course you do.
And
But
I live in a neighborhood where, people judge like it's none of their business. They think they believe everything they hear, and they judge. And
yeah,
I'm being in sobriety, I'm learning to hear the person out first and see what they're about, maybe if I can get a read on them before I just come to a conclusion in my mind or judge them.
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, we got to find a way to be able to deal with adults in life because there's a lot of them. There's a lot
Yeah,
of complete dolts in this world, man. Um, but we could go all day on that. But
yeah. Thank you though, Mark, for doing this.
yeah, well, the main thing is you stay good, man.
Absolutely.
Stay good and take out your insurance policy each day and go from there. And I promise you this. Um, you start stringing these days together, these weeks, these months together, and along with that, life just starts getting better. It just does.
Yeah.
It